Hey everyone, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me again. We're going to be looking at shelf number 12 of the complete 2019 Blu-ray collection. I'm going to do this one fairly quick fire. Try not to spend too much time talking about each film because otherwise the video just stretches on and on and on and on. So let's get going. Kicking things off, we've got Michael Mann's greatest film, his magnum opus, which is Heat. Next up, we've got a great contemporary film, Hell or High Water. Here we've got the Arrow Hellraiser box set. So this box set contains Hellraiser and then Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, and then the third part, Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. Next up, we've got Hereditary. Enjoyed this one. Looking forward to watching Midsummer when it gets a release on Blu-ray. Next up, we've got John Woo's Heroes Shed No Tears. This is a US import. It's region A locked, unfortunately, but if you're a John Woo fan, this is a really good restoration and well worth seeking out. Next up is the Shaw Brothers film Hex from 88 Films Asia range. Here we've got the film Hidden from director Michael Haneke. Excellent film, well worth seeking out. Next up, we've got a very recent release. This one hasn't even featured on my recent pickup videos because I literally got it a few days ago. It's the film High Life from French director Claire Denis, starring Robert Pattinson amongst others. Here we've got Highlander, the classic. Here we've got the Hills Have Eyes remake. This is the Steelbook edition. Next up, we've got Hiroshima Mon Amour, part of the French New Wave films from Alain Resnais. Next up is this fantastic box set, the Alfred Hitchcock Masterpiece Collection. I absolutely love this set. I mean, Hitchcock is obviously one of the most famous directors of all time, for good reason. This box set houses 14 of some of his best films. You can see here the list of all, it's got all the details on it, but it's got a list of the films as well. Without going into each and every one, because I have done that on a previous video. It's a must-have for any serious film collector, I think. Next up, we've got the Hobbit films. These are ones my wife actually bought. As you can see, you got An Unexpected Journey, The Desolation of Smaug, and The Battle of the Five Armies. Not as good as Lord of the Rings, in my opinion, but there's still some enjoyment to be had from these films. Here is Hobo with a Shotgun. Next up, we've got another US release. This again is region A locked. This is the cult classic The Holy Mountain from the director Alejandro Jodorowsky. Arrow are releasing a box set with this film in, plus some of his others. To be honest with you, I'm probably going to sell this edition and buy that box set because if it's a remastered version, then I'll be definitely sort of double dipping on this film because it's worth it. Certainly not for everyone, but in my opinion, fantastic. A complete change of tone for the next one. This is Steven Spielberg's Hook. This is a childhood favourite of mine. Here we've got the classic Home Alone and Home Alone Part 2. Probably the only Home Alones that you need to watch. These films are put on every Christmas and, you know, they're great. Next up, we've got a Korean film. This is a bit of a creature feature monster movie. It's called The Host, directed by Bong Joon-ho. Looking forward to seeing his most recent film, Parasite, when I get the chance to buy the Blu-ray, at least anyway. I think this is quite an accessible film of his. But yeah, he's got a fantastic filmography anyway. Next up, we've got the controversial film Hostel from Eli Roth. Next up is a release from Eureka, part of their Masters of Cinema series. I thought I'd show you the release without the slipcase. It's the early Hao Hasao Hassen collection. As you can see, there's 3 films in here. starting with Cute Girl, The Green Green Grass of Home, and The Boys from Fenkui. Next up, we've got another Arrow release. This is The Hound of the Baskervilles, the Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee version. Great to see some Hammer horror release from Arrow. Then we've got Eureka's release of the Japanese film House, or Hausu, from the underrated director Nobuhiko Boyashi. Another Arrow box set here. This is the original release of the House collection. Just to show you the contents of this, so there's all 4 films in this series. The original House, House 2, The Second Story, House 3, The Horror Show, which, to be fair, is a bit of a weak spin-off, pretty much just renamed to be in part of the collection. It doesn't really have much to do with the actual storyline. Not that the storyline runs through coherently throughout the films anyway. Anyway, I'm digressing. Part 4, House, The Repossession. You'll see there's quite a few films beginning with House in this shelf. Anyway, House at the End of the Street is up next. Then I put these two ones together because The Devil's Rejects is a direct sequel to House of 1000 Corpses. Rob Zombie's actually recently made another sequel to this film. It's called 3 from Hell. I did actually set a pre-order for that because it was supposed to be coming out in October, but for some reason it seems to have been wiped from existence, and HMV cancelled my pre-order and I can't find it anywhere now. But we'll see anyway. Maybe it's just been delayed. I am quite fond of these films, actually. I really enjoyed House of 1000 Corpses, and I think The Devil's Rejects got a bit more sort of notoriety. Pretty brutal, twisted, sick. Yeah, my cup of tea. More horror on the way here. We've got The House of the Devil. This is a great film. Another great film here. This one is from China. It's called House of Flying Daggers. And another Chinese film. This one is called House of Traps. This one again is part of the Shaw Brothers films from '88. Next up, we've got Artificial Eyes release of Lars von Trier's The House That Jack Built. When I watched this, I did enjoy it. I thought it was quite different, even though it is another film about a serial killer. But yeah, the way they went about it, I thought it was all right. I just thought perhaps could have been just trimmed down a little bit. Showed this one in my most recent update. It's the How to Drain Your Dragon trilogy pack that we got very recently in one of the Amazon offers. Another Studio Ghibli film here, Howl's Moving Castle. I'll say one of his best, but then again, I don't think Miyazaki has made a bad film. In fact, I'm 100% certain he hasn't. Now, next up is possibly quite an unknown series of films. It's a collection of 3 films called The Human Condition Trilogy from director Masaki Kobayashi. This is a great package from Arrow Academy. It looks fantastic. The films are undeniably must-see masterpieces. I can only just suggest to recommend to watch these. Brilliant, well-made, exceptionally well-made films. A little bit more light-hearted though, we've got Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And then straight back into much more darker territory again. This is The Hunt, starring Mads Mikkelsen. Great film. Next up, we've got a bit of a comedy. This one, well, it's a comedy drama, I'd say. It's The Hunt for the Wilder People from the director Taika Waititi. He's probably most famous for directing Thor Ragnarok. This next release is a Japanese film called I Am a Hero. It's like a zombie film, basically. This is actually the Korean release. Now, at the time when I bought this, it was the only English-friendly release with English subtitles on it. There might well be a US release now, but this one's region-free anyway. If you like zombie films, well worth seeking out. I thought it was quite original, quite well made, good, well put together. Yeah, decent zombie film. Next up, we've got another Artificial Eye release. This is a British film. It's called I Am Not a Witch. Here we've got what I would say is one of Will Smith's better films in it from his career, I, Robot. Next up, we've got the Korean film I Saw the Devil. Wow, great film, well worth seeing. Here we've got the film Iceman. This one was from a few years ago. It's a German film. Next up, we've got one of my favourite films of all time. This is my favourite Takashi Miike film. It is Ichi the Killer. This is the Welgo USA American release. So, of course, it's English friendly. It's got the subtitles. It's the remastered edition. Can't see this one ever getting a release in the UK because the BBFC would need to cut it. And to be fair, most distributors probably wouldn't want to cut it too much. I mean, it did come out on DVD, but this is like the definitive edition. Still readily available, these are, and they're pretty cheap on like websites like Wow HD. Yeah, what a brutally fantastic film. Next up, we've got the film Identity. And then last but not least for this shelf, we've got another Eureka release from the Masters of Cinema series. This is Lindsay Anderson's If. Okay, so there we have it. That is shelf number 12. Down, only another 15 to go. And by the time I get to the end of that, I'll have collected another shelf's worth of films, probably. Right, thanks for watching, everyone. Please, as I say, if you'd like to subscribe, feel free. If you want to comment, I will do my best to get back to you. And yeah, have an excellent day. Thank you very much for watching.